Hi there, we are looking at some topics that could well come up in the foundation paper that certainly my class are preparing for. And this question is about working out averages from a frequency table. This is specifically group data, but it would also work if you didn't have these inequalities. If it just had numbers here, we could also do it like this. It only asks in this question, this is the specimen paper for the 2016 specification, the new exams. It only asks for the modal class and an estimate for the mean, but we'll do the median as well, just in case that comes up. So first of all, the modal class, if you remember, is just a posh way of saying the mode, okay, which is the most common. And frequency is how many things there are. In this case, how many workers. It's saying about how far each worker travels. And so how many is the frequency, and the most frequent, the modal, the most common, is just going to be the one with the highest frequency. Please do not write down 18. 18 is how many times it's happened. The modal class, the class are these things. The inequality is the class. So you write down 25 is less than or equal to 30. Okay, we'll come to the mean in just a second. The median is the middle value, and when it's big enough, when there's enough people, you don't worry about adding one before you halve it. So we can just find out of 60 workers the 30th. And in questions like this, what we can't do at this level of mathematics is we can't work out an actual value for the median. We're just going to look at which group the median sits in. You can estimate it, but we don't need to worry about that for the foundation paper. We just need to know which group is the median sat in. So with 60 workers, halfway is 30. We just need to find the 30th person in order. So we just go down until we pass 30. So we get 12. We've not passed 30 yet. You add on the 6, that's 18. We've not passed 30 yet. Add on 4, we get 22. So again, we're not past that. Add on 6, 28. So we've still not got the 30th person. Add on 14, and we're going to get up to 42. Is that right? Add on 4, 32, add on 10, 42. We have passed the 30th person. So the 30th person must be in this group here. So the median is in the class 20 is less than D is less than or equal to 25. Okay, so you just look for who is half and where are they. You just count from the beginning, keep counting until your number goes over that halfway mark, and then you've found out where they are. Let's just get rid of that. So we've got a clean page to do the mean. Now the mean, if you notice right at the bottom, it does say an estimate of the mean. Remember, that is not telling you can be imprecise. You must be absolutely precise. It's telling you that the precise value you're working out is itself an estimate. Why? Because these values are in groups. We don't know what these 12 people or these 6 people actually have as their data. We're going to have to make an assumption. And the assumption that we use is the midpoint. Now, some people actually like to work out the midpoints and write them down. That's absolutely fine. So the midpoint between 0 and 5 is 2.5. 5 and 10 is 7.5. If you're not sure what the midpoint is, if it gives you funny numbers, you've got 36 and 47, and you're thinking, I just can't work out what it is, add them together and half it. 10 plus 15 is 25. Half of 25 is 12.5. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Anytime you want to work out the value halfway between two things, two numbers, just add them and half it. That's the way to do it. So when you've got all your midpoints, remember what the mean asks you to do. It asks you to add it all up and divide how many. So in this case, we need to add up all the distances and divide by how many people there are. That will give us the average distance for for the people. But there are 12 people who had a midpoint of 2.5 kilometers. So we need to add up 12 2.5s and 6 7.5s. So we multiply all these numbers together. Multiply all these together and work out the answers. Get the answers over here. Now, you don't need to write all the equals, but you get all the answers and you're going to write them down over here. And we're just going to add all of those together. We're going to add all those together and divide by how many there are. You must remember to divide by the total frequency, which we know from the question is 60. The number of people who completely mess up these questions because they just divide by 6, because there's 6 groups, that is completely meaningless. That we're doing the average distance that the people travel to the factory. So you've got to divide by the total number of people. It's this number. You've got to do the total frequency. That, if I see a mistake in this, 99% of the time it's that. So let's work that out and see what we get. So we get 12 times 2.5 is going to be 30. 6 times 7.5 is going to be 45. 4 times 12.5 gives us 50. 6 times 17.5 gives us 105. 14 times 22.5 gives us 315. Let me just, 315. And 18 times 27.5 gives us 495. We need to add all this up, so we get the total here, 30 plus 45 plus 50 plus 105 plus 315 plus 495 equals 1040. 1040. And so our mean, x bar, if you like, is going to be 1040. That's an O, not a 6, by the way. Do make sure your numbers look correct in the exam. So many people have 4s and 9s that are interchangeable, and you really don't want that to confuse your examiner. Excuse me. And we divide that total by the total number of people, 60, and we get our answer of 17.3, and there's an infinite number of 3's, it's 3 recurring, but we'll just put it to 1 degree of accuracy more than our data. Our data is all whole numbers here, so we'll just go to 1 decimal place. Does this make sense? Well, there's quite a big amount here, there's quite a big amount here, so it's going to be somewhere in the middle. It's going to be a bit shifted towards the large numbers because we've got a 14 and 18, only one big number that side, so about 17, I guess that does sort of make sense. We can check this with our calculator. If you have something like Casio, then this is how we can check that. We want to go onto stats mode. There it is. It's one variable. We've only got one variable, distance. And if this comes up with no frequency, then you just need to go Shift, Setup, and go down to the statistics option and just turn frequency on. And now we're going to fill in all the x values. That is the midpoints that we used. So 2.5, 7.5, 12.5, 17.5, 22.5, 27.5. Go back to the top and fill in the frequencies, which are 12, 6, 4. I'm just typing in the question. I'm not doing any. The only thing I have to do is the midpoints. It won't do that for us. Well, it will if you needed to. You could type in as a here you could write in 30. Well, hang on, we need to have a bracket. 30. Add them together. 35. Half it. You can actually type it in. It will calculate it for you. But we best delete that because that's not part of our data. Now you need to clear this, which seems galling. You're not actually getting rid of it. And then on this calculator is in option. If you've got an older version of the calculator, it'll be shift and then there's a little stats menu above the 1. I'm going to go to option and I'm going to go to summation, I think. Is it summation? No, not that. It's variable, number 2. And I want X bar. So number 1 and press equals, and that tells me the answer is 17.3. The calculator gets the same answer I do, then it must be right. Well, it's probably right. If I get the wrong answer, then think about what's happened. It could be that you typed in the calculator wrong, so maybe just check that. Maybe go option and go to data, and then there's your data table back. Just check, are all the decimal places in the right place? Are all the numbers right? You didn't add a decimal point or miss a number out or something daft. If the table looks correct, trust the calculator perhaps, and maybe go back to your method and say, have you divided by the right number? Did you divide by 60? Did you divide by 6? Because, it makes a big difference. And there you go. The range is not an average, I know, but if you are asked for the range, remember, it's of the data. So here, it's a bit tricky. Do you say it's 30, take away 0? Do you say, the midpoint's 27.5, take 2.5? It's ambiguous. But remember, the range is not an average. It's a measure of spread, and it is the largest piece of data. Take away the smallest piece of data. Don't be tempted to use the frequencies. They just tell you how many repetitions there are of each value or in each range. Okay, I hope if this topic comes up, there's a few things there that you can remember and use and get those marks, because it really will make the difference. Getting those extra couple of marks will make the difference, hopefully, between getting 1 grade and the one above. Good luck, and ta-ra for now.